Hi, my name is Alain Boissy, better known as the Kilted Chef. I am one of the culinary ambassadors here in Nova Scotia, and lobster is one of my specialty. We're here with the lobster crawl, and check this out. I pre-cooked a male and a female lobster. We're gonna walk you through the 101 of lobster very quickly and see how it turns out. So on the lobster on my right, it would be, see how narrow the tail of the lobster is? Narrow the tail, always a male. Versus if you look at this one, see how wider the tail is? The wider the tail, childbearing hens, of course. That is one way to tell the difference between a male and female. The second way is when you get into the body of the female, you'll see some roe, and versus the roe is actually unlaid eggs. It's a bit like the caviar of lobster if you want it. And we're going to be able to see a little bit of that if she still has eggs. If not, then you won't. And of course, the green stuff that's inside the body is called a tamale. The tamale itself is liver and the pancreas of the lobster, all edible. You want to eat everything you can out of the lobster. Of course, we'll show you how to get into the body. The one area that you want to stay away from is the brain of the lobster. Try to avoid the brain because our water is not as pristine as it used to be, and the toxin seems to be gathering into the brain. So here we go. We're going to get started. So I'm going to start with the female lobster. I'm going to move this one aside, but this is how simple it is. You just take your hands, pull the two claws, boom, two of them are done, and then you've got the tail with the body, and you just take the tail and give it a little twist and pull. And look, in this case, you could see a little bit of the roe. See the red roe that's inside? Those are the unlaid eggs. So you end up with 4 parts. So first one is the simplest, is the tail. Look, all you do is you pull the tail, put it in the palm of your hand like this, and you just gently squeeze it till you hear the crack. Just like that. And you squeeze it to the end as well, so some of the juices will come out. And then turn it upside down and peel it, just like you would. Look, like just like peeling a big shrimp in a way. And once you peel it, all you do is take that entire tail meat and it's out, ready to go. You don't want to eat the vein that's inside of the tail, of course. So what you want to do is pull the back. And when you pull the back, you could see the eggs a little bit better. There's the roe. But if you look inside, there's a little line there. So you want to pull that vein right out. So that way, all the meat is inside the tail is edible, just like that. So you've emptied the entire lobster tail. If you're the avid lobster eater and you like every part, you could also take the fins off, push them apart like this, and suck the meat right out if you wanted to. So that's one thing that you could do. The other part too is the claws, but those are fun to take apart. So we'll do the body first. You want to remove, there's 8 little legs that are attached to the actual body cavity. So you want to remove those, just like this. You just twist them and they come right out. And every single one of those little legs are full of meat. All you do is bite at the knuckle and suck the meat backwards like this. And when you do, look at all the meat that's going to come out. And the flavor of the meat that's inside those little legs, so sweet and juicy. So remove that. Often you would use these for the kids to use at the dinner table because the kids can have a contest of who's going to eat as many little legs as possible. So by the time you're ready to serve lobster, they'll be full and you'll be able to enjoy the actual lobster meat yourself. There you go. Next thing you do is use your 2 thumbs, put it inside the cavity and just pull it apart like this. And when you pull it apart, you end up with this cartilage piece, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is where the brain of the lobster lives, right at the top, right? So you want to take this and tap it on your board. So that way you could remove all the roe and the tamale and you could keep it all together. Therefore, you could use it and eat it when it's time. But look, now you've exposed the actual brain. It's actually very rubbery. So you'd have to deliberately cut through it in order to get to the brain. So we discard this, or you could do a nice bisque if you wanted to, so you have your meat. Next up is the actual cavity. So a couple things you want to do. You want to remove the mouth that's in the front because it's all it's all hard, right, to eat. So you wouldn't want to eat that. You want to remove the actual gill because lobster breathes through their stomach. So you want to remove the gills because they're not edible. Just like this. Now, there's no question, if you're not in a restaurant setting, you could do this a lot easier, right? Because you could just basically take the pieces, put it in your mouth, and eat the lobster meat that's inside of these and spit out the cartilage, right? It doesn't matter. But then you end up with this beautiful body meat like this. All you have to do, remember, there's 8 little legs connecting to this body and the 2 claws. So this cavity is full of meat. All you have to do is split it apart, take your finger and channel it through every single one of those channels. And inside the channels is the meat, right? So you've got 10 times this in this body. So if you've been throwing the body all along outside in the garbage, you're losing a lot of meat. So you want to make sure you get this because it's a different texture and super sweet. There we go. So then you're stuck and left with the claws. And the claws are not a hard challenge. You need a good sharp knife or a good pick. But if you use a knife, look how simple it is. You just take the claw, you know how it bends, just push it forward, lay it on your board, and give 3 incisions between each claw, each knuckle, and then your claw. And when you get to your claw like this, all you do is twist your knife. And when you twist your knife, give it a little poke, you're able to open it up, remove the actual finger, turn it upside down, and you've got yourself a claw ready to go. So, and then you have this beautiful little cartilage that's in the middle. This is what's going to intrigue everybody, but let's put this on the board and let it dry for now. So you end up taking all the meat out. Look, the knuckle at that point, all you do is break it where you did the knife incision and use your finger to push the meat right through the knuckle. And when you do, you don't have to hurt yourself because there's all kinds of little sharp edges, and the sharp edges is what goes into your hand when you're trying to break it apart and you hurt yourself, right? Versus this, all you have to do is push the meat right out. So you could always use the actual extra claw to pull it out, right? So I'm doing the lobster, all of it, with just a knife. Bingo, just like that. So we're gonna do that again, but a little quicker, right? So 1, 2 incision, knife, cut through, pull it out. 1, 2, 3, pull, turn it upside down. You got yourself a gorgeous, gorgeous claw. Look at that. It doesn't get any easier than this. So at this point, now your knuckle, same thing. You just open it up where you broke it. This one is being stubborn. Just like that, and push the meat right through. And you eliminate all the knuckle meat. And the knuckle meat is the sweet meat, often used in lobster rolls, right? Look at that. Just like that, you've got yourself an entire lobster ready to go. So a lobster that's £1.25 pounds to, let's say, £1 to £1.25 pounds, you get approximately 8 ounces of meat, and you're ready to dip it in hot butter. I neglected to continue to tell you about this. So basically, this is my trick. Every time I eat lobster, people keep looking at me and staring at me why I'm putting the cartilage next to me. But when you're done this gorgeous meal, you're gonna have some teeth issues. Lobster gets stuck in your mouth, in your teeth, so you use this as your floss. And it works perfectly. So there you go. Now you go everything there is to know to get this beautiful Nova Scotia lobster in your tummy. Hope you have a great appetite and hope you enjoy it.